Qualitative Analysis Lab unknown D as in dilution. So we're doing unknown D right here. And see, I have a test tube. I have some ions in here. And the ions are either magnesium or calcium or strontium or barium, or a combination of two of these ions or three of these ions or all four of these ions. So really what you're going to be answering to is a yes or no for each of these ions. And we're going to kind of test each one through the sequence of this flow chart. So you're going to put unknown D, you're going to do yes or no for magnesium, yes or no for calcium, yes or no for strontium, and yes or no for barium. Supporting evidence, make sure you watch the general information video for hints about that. And be careful, the order of the ions in this sheet are not necessarily the same as the order on the flow chart. We're going to follow the flow chart for this on page, which was on page 4, and we're going to add OH minus, and that will tell if one thing is a yes or no for precipitate. Then the next thing we're going to add is CrO4 minus 2, and then we will use that to determine if yes or no for another precipitate. But we'll ultimately take our solution, add SO4 minus 2 to that. That could help us find another precipitate. And the last thing we're going to add to our solution is CO3 minus 2. So I'm going to stop the share. I'm going to go right to that and show you those things. And here's our clear solution. The first thing we're going to add is OH minus. So I'm going to add my 10 drops. Not much it looks like happening here, but I get that cloud toward the upper half. And that sounds familiar to a positive test. Let's do a quick shake, maybe once, maybe twice. And it looks like a gel to me. Okay, kind of that fish egg type consistency right there. So I'm going to put this into the centrifuge. I don't think you can see that right now. So I'll slide that over here. And you move this a little bit. Here's the centrifuge, and here's my test tube that I just had. I'm going to put that in here, and then I'll put another one there with some water to balance that. And here we go. I'm going to give it a spin. I want to spin this one pretty good. So again, that very first step where we add OH minus, we're looking for that gel-like precipitate, and very much look like that is what we had. Just want to give this a good spin to make sure we separate that out so we can go to our next steps. We got a bunch of dirty test tubes here, right? Clean some of those up. Here's something for my next step. Okay, so I'm going to take out this magnesium. Notice the fluffy stuff on the bottom and the liquid on the top, trying to keep the fluffy stuff down there. It should stay there. Okay, better to leave a little liquid behind than carry that stuffy, fluffy stuff with me. And now I got the rest of my ions. And to that, I'm going to add CrO4 minus 2. A positive test for this would be that it would get cloudy right away. Okay, it's getting yellow, but that's just the color of the solution. No cloudiness. And I think I'm going to just go right to the next step, which is SO4 for this one. And this is one where I add a couple extra drops. And this one is a really difficult one to tell. It was pretty clear when I added it, but it's starting to fog up. So I'm kind of seeing this and pretty faint, but now it's starting to fog up the sides of the glass. can't really see through it very well. And it seems like it's crystallizing outside. So just trying to give it a little bit more time. You can see how that is compared to a clear solution. I know you got the yellow color there, but really hard to see through that, where I think before we could see through that yellow color. So took a little bit, but it's a weak test, and it does look like it's fogging it up enough for a positive test for that third step right there. I'm going to spin that around a little bit and separate that. That probably will fog the glass, or it might be a little chunk on the bottom. It's not going to be as much as other precipitates, but this is you do generally get a smaller amount with this test right here. Okay, we'll see how that did for mixing things. I probably should have gotten. Okay, so if you look here, you can somewhat see through, but there's definitely fogginess all over the place on this glass. Not a real strong test, but I think you can see through one a lot better than the other. One right there, and there's kind of a chunk on the bottom too. So I'm going to pour this into a new test tube. I'm going to dump this out, pour this in here, and you can see the fogginess on the glass, the frosting of the glass, and then it looks nice and clear now again, so I can do a nice clean test. So my last step is to add the CO3, and this one should get cloudy right away when I add it first couple drops. Should show some cloudiness, not just oiliness, but cloudiness. And definitely seeing cloudiness right away with those first drops. Okay, again, I could centrifuge and spin that around, but I don't think I need to do that, and pretty distinctly cloudy in this last step. Just give it a little mix and work with that. So that is unknown D. And again, look at the general information on unknowns video if needed, or let me know if you have any questions. That's unknown D. Thanks for watching.